change the slide. Somebody can go and change to OBS Studio. You have to change the image. Right? So it's for the morning session. You can make it for the evening session. Okay, so this is the
Hello. Yeah. Okay. Now I think it will take the voice. Okay. Okay. Thanks to Nirav for putting a comment that the sound was not getting through so far. Okay. Uh, I hope now the voice is audible. Yes. Okay. Now it is audible there. Okay. So you have to do lots of multitasking and you have to see at so many places. That's why we suggested that somebody should keep on watching the live stream so we can come to know if things are going okay or not. So we are talking about the topics and who is going to make presentations. And so far, see now that voice is not recorded. If you might have thought that I don't want to take a note, I will watch video, but the video has no volume now. So that your backup plan has failed as such. If you have not taken the notes, tomorrow again you will make the same mistake, and then day after tomorrow also, then in next semester also, and even in the fourth semester we might be talking about the same things about how to write correct topic or how to write a correct titles. Okay, so we have seen so far that title of the text in the topic or whatever presentation titles are, it should be in single inverted comma. Second, we have seen that spelling errors should be avoided. Simple spelling errors should we have to be very careful in that. We have to always look 2-3 times to see that there are no spelling errors in this. Third one is keywords are in capital. All keywords are in capital. Simultaneously, you can go on correcting also. If you can open the mobile device and you can do, then you can parallelly go on correcting also, because in the evening, I don't think you will remember to correct the errors. So that you can keep on doing that. Uh, and Yeah, so Koshas we were looking at female exploitation in the play, capital E, capital P, the Rover in single inverted comma. Mansi's presentation will be fourth, and that will be about Lady Macbeth's character sketch. So you'll be doing a character study of Lady Macbeth. That way you can still make the topic properly. A proper academic topic you can make here a character study, or you can Lady Macbeth a character study. Now from which angle you want to do character study? Is it feminist angle, it is psychological angle? That also you can put here. Okay, then Nirali film adaptation of Macbeth. Yeah. Macbeth single inverted comma. Of can be small o, no need to make o capital in of, which is a minor word, not a key word. Payal will make presentation on how does the witches affect Macbeth. Okay, that is fine. So here we see that Macbeth is the character, not the text. So no need to make it into single inverted comma. You are talking about Macbeth, the character. That is why we need to highlight whether you are talking about text or about the character. Now you will see that this is what I have repeated so many times in my class also. Now while the live streaming is going on, again we have to repeat the same thing, because that is not understood properly or has not come into practice. Whatever we discuss in the class, it has to come in practice also. Pooja is going to make presentation on the collar unbroken from the collar poem by George Herbert. Rajeshvariba on the great chain of being. Yes. And Riddhi will read on metaphysical poets and poetry. So capital P at both the places is necessary, poets and poetry. Riddhi. So almost 10 minutes has passed, which I started telling the thing. Within that 10 minutes, you might have already corrected also. You might have corrected this edit. So by the time I reach to your name, I don't have to repeat the same things. That is called alertness. That is what we expect, that you should be alert enough in advance to keep on working. Even though you might be little bit tensed about your presentation, but even in that tensed situation, your mind should be functioning, working and doing the work there. Okay, so poets and poetry, then wrinkle symbols in the rover. So there we see the single inverted comma, fine. Trushali Women as a Commodity and Prostitution in the Rover with the Modern Insights. Okay, fine, that is well written. Upasna, Characteristics of Metaphysical Poetry, of capital can be removed, otherwise it is quite fine. Okay, so these are the topics on which in this session these students are going to make their presentations. They all have submitted their presentations in Google Classroom uh, here, and these are the submissions of all the students that we see here. Okay. And they will make through Google slides, the things will be presented. We have three layers of evaluation. The first one is teacher's evaluation, and teacher is evaluating based on a rubric given in Google Classroom. So you all can come to know how to improve, where to improve, that also, and you will get a score in Google Classroom through this rubric. What are the parameters? Here is first is subject knowledge. So if you are able to demonstrate full knowledge by answering all class questions with explanations and elaboration, you will get full score. But if in case you're not able to answer the questions properly in the first topic, your marks will be reduced. Then organization, second parameter, which says that if students presents information in logical, interesting sequence, which audience can follow, then the organization of your content is very good and you get full score. Otherwise, the points will be reduced. Third one is about elocution, art of clear speaking, your verbal skills. And if your voice is very clear, correct, precise pronunciations of terms so that all audience member can hear your presentation, then you will get full score. The next parameter is about the mechanics of writing. So spelling errors, grammatical errors, as we discussed right now, how many kinds of errors we make in just writing the title of the presentation. All those things will be seen. So if you make some major spelling errors or grammatical errors, then your points might be cut. Next is non-verbal parameter. Here, eye contact, body language, your enthusiasm will be seen here. So far as eye contact is concerned, we have seen most of the students just read slides. They rarely see beyond the laptop screen. Try to have a look at the audience. Also, as we are doing live streaming, try to look in camera also. Time and again, look inside camera. Try to have eye contact with audience also. It is hybrid mode. There are some people who are online attending your session. There are some students who are present here in the classroom. So try to switch over your eye contact from your slides to other places also. Last two parameters are about research based writing. We take presentations and assignments as research writing. So here, if your sources are exceptionally well integrated and they support claims argued in the paper very effectively, you get full score. Normally, even in the morning session, we have seen that here students are not getting full score. It takes time in learning how exceptionally well to integrate the sources and support the claims argued in the paper or presentation very effectively. And whatever sources you have cited or referred to or mentioned in the paper, it should be documented as per MLA style citation. If it is done properly with all quotation marks and all alphabetical order and everything correct, you get full score. Otherwise, in this also, your points may be cut there. So by the time, as soon as you end your presentation, you will be evaluated on these parameters here. In case you find any problem in this rubric or in the evaluation, then you can quickly inform me. You can share your screenshot with me. So I will correct and I will see. Or I will include that in the feedback at the end of the session. When I will give the feedback, I can include that why your marks are cut or how you can improve on that. So while the evaluation is done, if you have any doubt or if any point is missed out, do not forget to inform me so that it can be rectified also. We are doing live streaming of this also on this website. We have all student webinars the corona times has given us a very interesting idea of doing this in this significant way, and we have documented everything also, so we don't make a false claims that we are doing everything but we can't show it to anybody. Now people don't believe if you can't show it. So you have to document everything properly, where you can tell people that you can just click on any of the links and you can see what kind of works our students are doing. So in the same way, the 14th one, last one is the link of the ongoing presentation season, and that is being live streamed here also. On this 15th to 19th, we are going to have the live streaming. This is the semester one students of the batch 22-24, and today morning presentations are being live streamed here, and this is the next one is ongoing here. This is there, so where anybody can watch, and after the live streaming has ended, all these video recordings will remain there for future viewing also. That will remain here also. Okay, so let us start our first presentation. Remember that you have to ask questions also to that, and our system of asking question is uh, you have to type your question first into comment, and while you are asking the question will be reflected on the screen. It will be reflected and it will be answered, so that we can also see that are you drafting questions grammatically correct or not. So work on your question and then ask. Don't just type anything randomly. Make a proper draft of the question also. Okay? Okay, so let us start with the first presentation of today. It is Hina. You can now come and share your screen, and you can start your presentation now. Okay? Slightly adjust the camera also. Okay?
Hello everyone, myself Parmar Hina and my topic is the Rover as a restoration comedy. This is my personal information. First of all, the introduction. There is three historical events deeply influenced the literary movements of the time. In uh, English history, there is most important literary movements are three. First one is the restoration of the year 1660. Second one is the Roman Catholic controversy that raged during the latter half of Charles II's reign. And third one is the revolution of the year, which happened in 1688. The restoration of Charles II brought about a revolution in English literature. First of all, we have to understand what is restoration comedy. Restoration comedy is a type of comedy play which written during and after the Restoration Britain. Uh, these restoration comedies are English plays which written and performed between 1660 and 1710. It is also known as comedy of manners. And this restoration comedy mostly deals with the sexual adventures of the upper classes, and it is show characters behaving in a foolish or wicked way. And there is also extramarital affairs. In this restoration comedy, it gives rise to many female playwrights like Afra Ben, and there is also Countryware, which is written by William Wycherley, and Love for Love, which is written by William. Uh, it is these two are plays are the these two plays are uh, uh, comedy plays, which is in which female actors are appear. Uh, Afraben is a writer of the play Rover. Afraben was a traveler, a successful female playwright, and also she was novelist. She was considered as the first professional female writer and also poet, and she was earned her living through writings. One of her most successful commercial work is Orinoco, uh, which is published in 1688. This work has themes like gender, race, slavery, and colonialism. Colonialism. She was the first woman who began to write in prose. Uh, uh, she was many times she was assumed by her contemporaries to be a uh, to be a prostitute because she has connection with theater, and that time uh, with that time women who selling their writings are seen as selling themselves. and she was many times complained that her works never get fame as they never get fame because it is written by a woman. The Rover, Afra Ben's most successful and best known play, in the Rover, set at Carnival time in Naples in 1656, this play presents its 1677 audience with the imagined exploits of a group of banished cavaliers. This is the Rover is a restoration comedy. There is many aspects. There is a libertinism and marriage in this. The Spanish is in this play, the Spanish sisters Florinda and Helena, who demonized by their brother Pedro. Pedro is confident that he can force Florinda to marry his powerful friend Antonio. That he saved the cost of dowry for Helena and to sending her back to her nunnery. Pedro was confident that he can force Florinda to marry his powerful friend Antonio. And To do this, he can save the cost of dowry for Helena. Here in this play, Afra Ben explores the roles available in restoration women and men and their ideas that marriage was an outmoded institution. In this play, there is a most powerful voice who is Angelica, and she is prostitute here, and she in this play Angelica is sees as better choice than marriage. In this play begins with this line. This line is this quote is by Florinda. Florinda is talking with her sister Helena that what an impertinent thing is a young girl bred in a nunnery. How full of questions. Prithee no more, Helena. I have told thee more than thou understandest already. Here, Florinda is talking with his sister Helena. In this play, Afra Ben is uh, uh, Afra Ben shows that how Helena is how Helena is a uh, uh, Helena, and there is also two quotes here. This is quotes is Helen Reddy. The most exciting thing about women's liberation is that this country will be able to take advantage of talent and potential, genius that have been wasted because of taboos. This is we can connect with this in our modern time. And this another aspect is restoration masculinity. Most of the men, by contrast, are in constant conflict with one another, and there is aggression is manifested both in verbal and justing. Belleville's affection for Wilmore results itself as he worries the Antonio, who Wilmore has drunkenly injured, might be Wilmore. Although Belleville might think that his friendship with Wilmore means he should forgive him, whatever he gets up to, and this shows the dominant conventions of restoration comedy, community. Uh, Here there is many constant conflict with one another. Belville he think that he should forgive Wilmore because um, he is his friend, and this is shows dominant convention of Restoration Age. And another aspect is carnival discuss and misrule. Through, through the discusses, the Spanish sisters, uh, their cousin venture into the streets, and here Florinda arranged an elopement for her beloved Belville, and Helena and Valeria search for their love matches. They are dressed as a gypsy, and then at the same time, Carnival enables the unfixing of those identities during a short period of misrule. This scene produces high energy entertainment. This is the scene which produced high energy. At the end, Wilmore choose Helena over Angelica. And last, the conclusion. Comedy of manners of Restoration comedy have satirized the upper class society. And Angelica Bianca belongs to the upper class society where she sleeps with Wilmore and which according to the Puritans will be immoral thing. And the same action goes to Wilmore as well. This is my citation. Thank you.
So, Hina, as you have mentioned, Afra Ben was connected with theatre, so she was believed as a prostitute. So, can you relate it with modern cinema and their actresses?
Yes, there is a one Bollywood film, Great Grand Masti. There is a actress. She is a host, and uh, she pretend many vulgar dialogues in this that movie. So yes, we can connect it. Yes.
So Hina, which play show woman as an actor in Afra?
What?
Which play show woman as an actor in Afra?
I can't understand. What is the question?
Which play show woman as an actor in Afra? Woman character in
Okay.
Afra. Which plays?
Okay, there is a Country Wife by William Wycherley and Love for Love. That two novels are. Okay.
Is it answered properly? Last one?
Yes.
Huh? Is it right answer? Or,
Yes.
hmm?
So I mentioned that
Okay, the next one. Yeah.
Slide one નથી. Screen share નથી શરૂ છે. સ્લાઇડ વાળું ક્યાં છે? ત્યાં વાળું છે. કરી દે ને. સ્લાઇડ બંધ કરી આપો.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Insiyafatema Alvani, and today I am going to present about William Shakespeare's drama and the Globe Theatre. This is my personal information. William Shakespeare was an English poet, playwright, and actor of the Renaissance era. He was also called England's national poet and considered as the greatest dramatist of all time. His works are very famous in the world. Shakespearean tragedies are also very famous. Shakespeare's birth records are not available, but an old church Holy Trinity indicates that he was baptized at 26 April on 26 April in 1564. He was the third child of John Shakespeare and Mary Arden. His father was a leather merchant. William Shakespeare was died on 23rd April in 1660. Actor and playwright. In 1594, Shakespeare joined the Lord Chamberlain's company as an actor and writer. Shakespeare's reputation as an actor is not famous, but he played some roles which are there are recorded. He played a role in Principal Comedians, Every Man in His Humor, Principal Tragedians, As You Like It, and Hamlet. Shakespeare wrote 37 plays and 154 sonnets with two epic poems. His plays are very famous in the world. He also write poems which is known as Shakespearean sonnets. He used iambic pentameter in his poems. His work have been produced in almost all languages, and his characters are still alive. His works are available in world's famous languages, and his characters like Macbeth, Othello, King Lear, Hamlet are still very much alive. Major plays. Shakespeare's plays are divided into three categories: tragedy, comedy, and histories. Tragedies are plays that ends with sadness and pain, and Shakespeare was so much inspired with Greek tragedies. His tragic plays are follow hamartia, downfall of character, and readers and viewers also feel pity and fear for the character. These are some examples of tragic play: Romeo and Juliet, Hamlet, Macbeth, and King Lear. Comedy. Comic play is end with happily. Main aim of comic play is to amuse the audience with happy ending. Some plays are also end with poetic justice, in which good is rewarded and evil is punished. These are the examples of comic plays: Midsummer Night's Dream, Measure for Measure, As You Like It, Love's Labour's Lost. Shakespearean history are based on the English kings, uh, King John and Henry V. These are the example of Shakespearean history. It is image of a globe theater. Here we can see that uh, audience are standing around the stage, and there is a gallery. In Shakespeare's time, upper class people are sitting there. This, uh, this theater was built by Shakespearean's Globe Trust, and they try to build as exactly as it was made in Shakespeare time. Globe Theatre history. The Globe Theatre in London is a theatre famous for its association with England's best known playwright William Shakespeare. Theatre was built by Shakespeare's Elizabethan Playing Company in 1599. The Globe was destroyed by a fire in 1630 during a performance of Henry VIII. In this play, there is a one scene of fire, and fire breaks out in the tent, and the theatre was destroyed by the fire. The theatre was rebuilt the next year, but was closed under the Puritans in 1642, and the theatre was demolished in 1644. Puritan are against of the drama and the theatre, and they banned all theatre in London. A modern reconstruction of the globe opened in 1997, which is also known as Shakespearean's globe. In Shakespeare's play are show there even after 14 after 14 years, 1400 years, and the first play in modern theatre was Henry V. Globe Theatre's effect on Shakespeare's work and life. The period of Shakespeare's professional growth is connected with the region of Queen Elizabeth because Queen Elizabeth paid much attention to the development of art in the England, and the popular public theatre are also replaced as a professional theatres. Globe Theatre also influenced his works because the theatre is best place to observe the human nature. Every people are come to watch the drama uh, in theater, and Shakespeare observed their nature, their problems, and their characters, and it reflects in his plays. During this time, he wrote such prominent works like Midsummer Night's Dream and Romeo Juliet and etc. Globe Theatre. The theatre in Shakespeare's time was much different than it is today. Richer people and noblemen sat in gallery. And if we see the condition of women in theatre, women never performed in plays, so young boys placed female characters. Plays were organized by acting companies. Chamberlain's Men and Admiral's Men, these are two important company, and Shakespeare worked in Lord Chamberlain's Men. He was worked as an actor and director, and also writer in this company. This is my citation. Thank you. Now, if you have a question, then ask.
Some in the center, three in the center, slightly beneath the left of it.
My question is that why Shakespeare likes his tragedy? Do you connect it with his life?
He writes so many tragic plays, and it is very famous in the world. But how it's connected with his life, that I have no idea. I search it and then I will tell you.
Oh,
Upasna.
Insiya, my question is who established modern globe theatre?
Uh, Actor Van Maker, he established Shakespeare's Globe Theatre Trust, and they built this modern Globe Theatre. Hello everyone, I am Kosha Bhatt and today I am going to present about female exploitation in the play Rover. These are my personal details.
Present, click on present.
Done.
Present and share screen.
Is it visible? Hello, my name is Kosha Bhatt and today I am going to present about female exploitation in the play Rover. These are my personal details. Florinda, the pitiful female. The Rover is a play by Afra Ben and it was premiered on 24th March 1677. Just because a play is meant to be performed, it was premiered. The only female who is innocent and is victimized of several rape attempts. Florinda falls in love with Cavalier Belleville, who saves her from getting raped. And by the end of the play, Florinda is also married to Belleville. Male dominance in the play. In the play, Florinda, when she is exploited by a Spanish soldier, she is saved by Cavalier Belleville. And just because Belleville saves her from this exploitation, she develops feelings for him. She loves him but cannot marry him. Her father and brother wants her to marry someone of their choice. Her father wants her to marry with someone who is very much affluent person, and even her brother is giving her a choice but not the liberty to marry someone whom she likes. Almost all the men in the play exploit Florinda sexually. Wilmore, Blunt, everyone in a way or other exploits Florinda. She is considered as an object, and Don Pedro and Belleville even fight to win her. Just because that they are both are wanting to have Florinda as their partner, they both play a duel in which the one who will win the fight will have Florinda. Relation of play in the modern times, the patriarchy. Female writers use male pen names or rather use initials to mask up their identity. J.K. Rowling is the biggest example that we have seen. Even it is said and believed that J.K. Rowling chose such pen name because when she went to the publishers, they felt that nobody will read this book just because it is being penned by a female writer. Most of the government posts have usually a reflection of male identity. For example, Rashtrapati, Kulpati, Grihpati. Even recently, when Draupadi Murmu was assigned as the new president, there was this conflict that whether to call her a Rashtrapati or a Rashtrapatni. All such names have a psycholinguistic approach infused into them collectively by our society. We feel that whatever belongs to the male identity is more powerful. Middle name of a person is always a lineage of their father or their husbands, women or men. We all use the middle name of our father or of our husbands. Even here, patriarchy is highlighted. Phrases from popular cinema. Bollywood undoubtedly has a huge impact on our lives, and such problematic phrases have been used in Bollywood, like अकेली लड़की खुली तिजोरी के जैसे होती है, दुनिया में तीन चीजों के पीछे कभी नहीं भागना चाहिए, बस ट्रेन और छोकरी, एक गई दूसरी आएगी. They are literally objectifying women as if they are objects and nothing else, or they are just toys that men use to entertain themselves. And the idea that akeli ladki is like a khuli tijori, that anyone can rob or steal her pride and dignity. Phrases from another popular cinema, and here I have taken this quote from Lipstick Under My Burqa, and the last line I would like you all to focus upon that. Why does our freedom scare you so much? That we all are scared of the fact that women will take their amount of freedom and males will have no place to hide themselves. And a very disrespecting dialogue from the movie Grandmasti, that balatkar se yaad aaya meri biwi kahan hai. We cannot say that women are objects to be raped, or raping women is something that has pride and honor in it. These are some another images that I have taken from popular cinema. These are the dialogues that जितना भी पढ़ लो ग्रेजुएशन पोस्ट ग्रेजुएशन, पर जब तक मंगलसूत्र गले में नहीं लगता ना, तब तक लाइफ कंप्लीट नहीं होती. There is this mentality which has been rooted into the society that only if a woman is married she is complete. After marriage, if she has children, she is complete. A woman who does not have a child is incomplete again. And even the fact that women have to ask for permission for every second thing to their fathers, brothers, or any male figure in the family. And even the discrimination that has been happening on the name of males and females, that मर्द खाना बनाए तो कला है और औरत खाना बनाए तो उसका फर्ज है, that how we have divided responsibilities, duties into the society, representing women as an object. Women have always been looked upon as someone to be won, and even Swayamvars are a proof that people fought to win women like a trophy. Even back in the ancient times, Swayamvars were organized for princesses of the kingdoms, where all other princes from another kingdoms would come and show their best skills in order to impress the princess and win her. So eventually, this is indirect metaphorical relation of a woman or a lady as a trophy. Even advertisements nowadays idealize fake beauty standards for women by endorsing fairness creams, and on the posters and everywhere we see women who are extremely fair and extremely having a very ideal figure that has been idealized into our society. There is also this article on portrayal of women in the advertisements by Sangeeta Sharma. There are some to-dos in the society for a woman in order to get married, and a single woman is always looked upon as a prey, and the incidents in the play make it very evident. Just because Florinda is single, Blunt thinks that it is his right to rape Florinda. Even in the image that I have attached in my slide, you can see the non-feminist word is very much highlighted. She should be a non-smoker, non-feminist, good cook, and never been married before. Good cook is also very much highlighted here, that you have to know how to cook in order to get married. These are the works I have cited. And we need women at all levels, including the top, to change the dynamic, reshape the conversation, to make sure women's voices are heard and heeded, not overlooked and ignored. We all face this problem where we always feel like our voice has been suppressed and we don't have equal rights and opportunities to explore ourselves. And even when we are given these things, we are given as if it is a charity towards us. We don't feel like it is our right, but we feel as if it is given away to us, which is again very much problematic. Yes, so yeah, now you can ask me questions.
So my question is that can you connect female exploitation with the current scenario? What is your thought about it?
Yes, I think I definitely can connect female exploitation with current scenarios. No matter how much we say that we have able to eradicate this gender biasness from our society, but recently this case that happened in Surat, where a very young girl was beaten to death, and everything was happened on these superstitious beliefs just because that their family wanted a male child, and in order to have a male child they treated her in almost each and every pitiful and merciless manner, which resulted in her death. connect the rover with modern times. Yes, I feel that even today, when women are going out late at the night, parents are more worried about the female child rather than male child, and even females are always been asked to cover themselves and not show their too much skin, just because that men would do something wrong to her. But we never ask our men to stay indoors so that a society would be more livable for women in the society. So yes, definitely there are a lot of connections that we can use to relate the play scenario and the scenario that we are living in contemporary times. Thank you.
Yes, so Insia still better way to draft the next one can go and start opening the presentation. Draft your question properly. Okay? It should not be anything that comes in the mind you ask. It should be question, grammatically correct question that you have to ask. The others also relevant question to the presentation, not any question, relevant and correct way to ask. In this, Kosha has made a very good connect of the graphical design with the theme. That was good to see. So, whatever is the theme or the topic on which you are speaking, your slides should get connected with that. Color combination, images, if GIF you are using, that also you need to connect with it. Again, disconnected, you are out of StreamYard. StreamYard is disconnected. You again join StreamYard. Be careful in clicking the button. This is first day, so that is okay. Mistakes may happen on the first day, or if you are not in the workshop attending it carefully, then also it might happen. So, had you been present in the workshop, then you will make lesser errors. share the screen and show what error you are seeing. Share the screen. Open that in the right hand panel. Not you have clicked at a wrong place. Above that. No. There is a square and arrow going outside. Click on that. Many of you are still forgetting to hide. Insia and other students earlier has forgotten to hide the that bottom strip that is coming. Yes, now you come to that screen. Uh,
Hello everyone. My name is Mansi Gujdiya. Today I will present Lady Macbeth character study. This is my personal information. Um, Now I can start a basic information about this play Macbeth. Macbeth is a tragedy written by William Shakespeare. It is a five-act play. This play is the shortest of Shakespeare's tragedy. Now when we are compare four famous tragedy of William Shakespeare, it is a Hamlet, Othello, Macbeth, and King Lear. In this four comparison, we can see that Macbeth is the shortest tragedy of William Shakespeare. Macbeth's rise and fell the result of blind ambition. Uh, Lady Macbeth as a wife, we can see that Lady Macbeth is a considered one of the main character in William Shakespeare's play. She is a wife of Macbeth, who killed the king of Scotland. Scotland. This king name is a Dickon. The downfall of Macbeth is not only the case by his own weakness, but also by bad influence of Lady Macbeth as a wife, a woman who served as a husband's evil genius. Lady Macbeth has controlled the mindset of Macbeth. Uh, Macbeth Macbeth letter of his wife about witches, prophecies. Macbeth write, "This have I thought good to deliver thee, my dearest partner of greatness, that thou mightst not lose the use of rejoicing by being ignorant of ignorant of what greatness to promise thee." Uh, Ambition of Lady Macbeth is when we compare comparison study between Lady Macbeth's character and her character, then we can see that her husband regarding who is a lesser devil. She had no other ambition than being the queen of Scotland. Uh, in this line, we can see that one quote of this play: "To catch the nearest way, thou wouldest be great. Art not without ambition, but without the loneliness would attend it." Femininity. Lady Macbeth may put on a appearance of femininity. She can never be unsexed or be made as a bold or hard-headed as a man. She is bold and spirited only in her tongue. Lady Macbeth talks a lot of courage, things, and even in impossible things, which no woman on the earth can do. Her psychology say that uh, in a first scene of the fifth act, Lady Macbeth goes out of her bedroom with a lighting candle in her hand and begins to walk and talk to herself quite loudly, although she is actually fast asleep. Her eyes are open, but they have no power to vision for the time being. This is not only physical but psychological phenomenon. Some people say that it is a kind of a nervous disease. And the end of the play, uh, she attempted suicide. Now I can with conclude with that Macbeth fiction of masculinity is never more than a valoria of the tongue. She cannot suppress her true nature, as is evidence from her ability to murder a deacon with her own hand. She wills to do evil and she days her with in ambition. This is my reference. Uh, Here, the smell of the blood still, all the perfumes of Arabia will not sweeten this little hand. Oh. Now you can ask a question. Any question?
Mansi, my question is that why is Lady Macbeth character so cruel, and what is so cruel about her character in your opinion?
According to me, ambition of his own ambition make his character too cruel. Other question? Yes.
Yeah, just a minute. Who is asking? Yeah, let's see. Yes, okay, now you can ask. Your sound has a problem there. That laptop, your voice is not getting through. So,
Lady
yeah,
Macbeth.
just a minute. Just speak again the question. No, that speaker is not getting the sound. So maybe some other speaker is connected, microphone is connected or something. It's not internet problem. Microphone setting you have to see. What's problem in the microphone of that device? Just a minute. I will tell you to answer. See that in case that it is not solved, then use mobile phone to ask your question. If that problem is not sorted out by you while the session is going on, then use a mobile phone as a backup plan, okay? So that you don't have an excuse that the device was not working. Yes, you can answer this now. Unmute and ask.
According to Lady Macbeth attempt suicide because this is her uh, mental condition. When Macbeth killed Duck Deacon, that time Lady Macbeth attempt suicide because it is her mental condition. Thank you.
Yes, next one. to share again. Unmute yourself. Huh? You're not unmuted. Hide that. Hide. Okay, you can start. That is okay. Fine. No problem.
Hello everyone, my name is Dabhi Nirali. Today I am going to present on Macbeth movie adaptation. This is my personal introduction. This is table of contents, brief information of Shakespeare, original source, Shakespeare, Macbeth, Makbul movie, and comparison of Macbeth and Makbul. William Shakespeare, by the prickling of my thumbs, something weak to this way comes. This is line from Macbeth. Uh, uh, the William Shakespeare was England's national poet. He begins a successful career in London as an actor, writer, and part owner of a playing company, and he is also known for their tragedies, plays, and dramas. This is the verse of Shakespeare. Original source Shakespeare's Macbeth. Macbeth was written by Shakespeare between 1603 and 1606. It is the story of a murderer and usurper like Richard III or Claudius. Claudius is a character of Hamlet. Macbeth is in this story, in this play, Macbeth is a villain, but a more humanized character compared to Richard III. The character of Macbeth is interesting because he is fully conscious of the horror of his deeds. The play is therefore more subtle since we find the presence of evil in the virtues and of good in the weak. It is not a Manichaean word. Our life is a mingled yarn, good and evil together. This is the information of Makbul movie. Come, come, you spirit that tent of mortal thoughts that take all my femininity away and fill me from the crown to the toy top full of direst cruelty. Make thick my blood, stop me from feeling pity, so that no natural feelings can get in the way. This is line from the Macbeth play. This Makbul movie was released in 2003. The director of this movie was Vishal Bharadwaj. Vishal Bharadwaj was also make a movie on Othello, which is Omkara. It was released in 2004, sorry, 2006, and also he make a movie on Hamlet, which name was Heather, and it is also released in 2016. In this movie, the King Duncan, King Duncan is become a Baji, whose real name is Jahangir Khan, and Pankaj Kapoor was a play as King Duncan. The Lady Macbeth was a Nimi. Tabu, the real name was Tabu. Macbeth, the play, the most important character of this play, this movie is Makbul, which it is a play by Irfan Khan, and the in and witches are witches become two corrupt cops, Nasruddin Shah and Om Puri. Comparison of Macbeth and Makbul. Macbeth is set in the Elizabethan age, displaying aristocracy of Scotland. In the other hand, Makbul is a backdrop of Mumbai underworld dawn, and it is set of Mumbai. Macbeth met three witches' sisters on his way back from a battle. In the other side, in the Makbul movie, the three witches' sisters are replaced by the corrupt inspector in this film. The Lady Macbeth is the lawful wife of Macbeth in the play. In the other side, in the Makbul movie, Nimmi as a Tabu plays Jahangir's mistress and secretly has an affair with Makbul. Makbul, Makbul is the motive behind the murder, was majority romantic. The love interest of Makbul and Jahangir Khan was the same, same as the Nimi. So the instigation factor here was to win the lady and subsequently the empire. This is my work citation. Lives but a walking shadow, a poor player that struts or fades his hoard upon the stage and then is heard no more. It is a tale told by an idiot, full of sound and fury, signifying nothing. This is line also from Macbeth. Thank you.
Mansi is asking.
According to you, if one had justice related character,
Where are from where? Okay. Now you ask. Yes, now you ask.
according to you, if one had justice related character,
Yes, according to me, Irfan Khan justice to this character, because in this movie he also played well role, like he was a Macbeth.
Who is asking? Next one.
Sir, I have typed, but it is not displaying on the screen.
Who?
Nirali, I have the question that there are some changes that have been made in the movie adaptations of Macbeth. So, do you think that those changes were necessary to be done?
According to me, in this movie and play, there are many changes, like characters and setup of location, and also are the dialogues. From According to me, in that time, Shakespeare's time, there are many many type of people who like to watch dramas. So according to Shakespeare, he write the dialogues like as a drama. And in this current time, we all are modern, so that movie director was make this movie like it. Thank you.
Hello everyone, myself Payal Bambhaniya from semester 1. Today I am going to present how witches affect on a Macbeth from paper number 1. This is my personal details. So first I discuss about the author William Shakespeare. William Shakespeare was an English poet, dramatist, and actor. He is also known as a great dramatist. He also known as England's famous poet. Here is his notable works like Hamlet, King Lear, Julius Caesar, Macbeth, Romeo and Juliet. Supernatural belief and power in Shakespeare's time. In Shakespeare's time, most of the people believe in witches, evil, and magic. Shakespeare uses characters such as the witches to bring dark magic and suspense. Shakespeare uses this appearance of the witches to emphasize their weakness. Supernatural belief and power means a ghost and magic and miracle. Introduction of Macbeth. Macbeth is a novel which is written by William Shakespeare. It is a story of a brave Scottish general named Macbeth. He received a prophecy from a trio of witches that one day he will become a king of Scotland. Witches in Macbeth. Meaning of which is a woman who believe in a super believe in have superpower and magic and uh, they them uses to harm people and the witch's appearance at the start of the play in the middle of a thunderstorm, witches contribute to Macbeth's downfall, influencing his ambitions, nature, and offering him misleading prophecies. By telling Macbeth that he will become the king of Scotland, and witches stimulate his ambition. Once Macbeth killed the king, he demoned his soul and transformed into a bloodthirsty tyrant. The effect of the witches on a character, Macbeth. Uh, in the play Macbeth by William Shakespeare, the witches have an important effect on a Macbeth, the characters, the plot, the theme, and audience. The help construct the play, and without them, it would have been a totally different storyline. The three wired sister means witches influence Macbeth in his acts. They affect characters' lives, orient, oriented the plot. They are related to most the themes and appeal the audience attention. The witches have a strong effect on Macbeth's character. They highly influence him, his accomplishment, and awake his ambitions. They give Macbeth a false sense of security with their appreciation of truth. Instead, they prove to be harmful, or Macbeth who takes too much comfort and confidence in his interpretation of the truth. They are the ones who plant the actual ideas of killing Duncan into Macbeth's mind. Here is some dialogue from Macbeth. By the prinking of my thumbs, something big this way comes. Means which is says that something bad or evil coming, and Macbeth is in a uh, trouble. And second one is a double toil and trouble, fire burn and cauldron bubble. Means three visage says that Macbeth is in a trouble, and her situation become a uh, tr- very tough. This is a work citation. So I conclude my presentation by saying that witches are very important in a Macbeth. because witches affect on a character of Macbeth. So thank you. Now, if you have any question, can ask.
In a present time, people believe in witches.
According to me, it is a depend on a person. Uh, depend on a person. If someone believe in evil, witches and spirit, and with him something happen bad, and he trust in witches, and if someone not believe in witches, and something happen bad, then he don't believe in this. Is there any?
Yes, Payal. Can you find witches in modern times as you described in Macbeth?
In the present time?
In modern times, current time.
No, right now I don't know about this. I will find it and let you know. Okay, thank you.
Am I audible? Hello everyone, good afternoon. In this first presentation of season 1 from the paper number 101 literature of the English Elizabethan and Restoration period, I choose the topic The Collar and Broken, a poem named The Collar by George Herbert. This is my personal information. And now let's take a look about the poet of this poem, George Herbert. Love is that liquor sweet and most divine, which my God fills as blood, but I as a wine. This two line describe his whole life in this two line, that what he feels and the think about God. George Herbert was born in the 1593 and died in 1633. He was an English religious poet, metaphysical poet, orator, and priest of the church in England. Here are his notable works. Now, see about the poem, The Caller. I raved and grew more fierce and wild at every word. Methought I heard once calling child, and I replied, my lord. This is the last line of this poem, The Caller, which includes the whole central idea of this poem. Written by George Herbert, published in 1633. The Caller, published in the collection of the poem titled With the Temple. This is a rhyme scheme of this poem, and this caller symbolize the inner taboo of our human mind and written in 36 lines. Now, this poem is divided into four sections of argument. The first one is complaint under the influence of the heart. It means the poet of this poem in first section argues and complains to the God that I don't want to live life as I'm used to live and I was living. I want to live my life now as I want. He complained to the God that I have no happiness. Even if I'm following you, I don't have any enjoyment, anything. Now I am going to live my life as my heart says to me and questions that is there any fruit in my life or not. In the second section, there is a fruit if heart says it. In this second section, he replied his own question that yes, there is a fruit in our life, and it doesn't matter that God gave us and we catch it. No, I can make this fruit by my own self, and I can enjoy it uh, anytime I want to enjoy. And the third section, her repeat its complaint. In the third section, here poet again complain about his enjoyment of life, that I don't have anything for enjoyment because I'm not able to enjoy. I don't know why. And he says the again this complaint to the God and tells that now I don't have any fear in my life. If you want to kill me, you can kill me now. I am not fearful from you. In this last section and fourth section, the acceptance of the God's will. This line, I previously said that the last line of this poem, that when he is very aggressively and borderly complain to the God that I don't want to follow you and that thing. He heard a voice called my child, and he feels very calm at that moment and said, yes, my lord. And this word of this a poem reflects that what God want to do with him. He accept this God's will, that yes, it doesn't matter how he talk about and complain about his life, but he is in the end God's child. So, what Herbert described his poem and what he thought about his poem, that it doesn't matter how many complex pass between God and his soul, he always do what Jesus will. And if he find his freedom in under the Jesus service, that if he service the Jesus and do what he say Jesus to do him, he always find his freedom and enjoyment under him. In the whole poem, there is not a single reference of this word collar. Indirectly, the poet informs us that he is a priest. By the collar, he means the clothes of the priest, which includes white collar. But was he actually able to break this collar as he described in his poem? In his poem, he says that I don't want to follow God, and in the last, he followed the God. In the end, he finds pleasure under the God's hand. So, can we say that he really able to rock his collar? So, here are the themes that he finds in this poem. If you read this poem, we clearly see that he struggle his own belief.
First he says that I want to break this collar and I want to enjoy my life, but in the end he says that no, I don't want to broke this collar, and I want to follow Jesus. What his will and what his heart says to him, he is confused between it, and his mind is on another path. Of course, in this poem, there is so many religious restrictions that he is a priest and he has so many duties to do. So can he broke his this collar, his priest duty to follow his own heart? No, because he is a priest and he has so many duties. So there are religious restriction that we also can relate, and what is that? We also can relate this in our life too, and we can experience that religious restriction. And he feels struggle for freedom. First, he want to free from his priest duty, and in last he find his freedom under the service of Jesus. So here are my work citation of my images and information that I described in my presentation. Thank you. If now, if anyone had question.
Why did George Herbert write this poem?
Why he write this poem? He write this poem under the influence of God. He tries to.
Yes, Pooja. Give the example of will or heart according to you in this poem.
Example of will or heart, what we want to do or what our heart say. Mm, I don't think is there any example of about it, but this is a feeling that we always experience, that what our heart says to us, what our mind says to us, and what we want to do. There is not an example. Yes, of course, if we say example, then we can relate in our life that sometimes we feel that yes, what our heart says this do, and what our mind said no, this is not right. My heart is become foolish and tell me what I want to do, but mind is right. So there is a conflict between our mind, will, and heart. Well,
Why did George Herbert write the collar?
why did George Herbert write the Collar? He write this poem named Collar under the influence of God. He want to describe and say all of them, all of us, that what he has a relationship to the God, and between him. His soul is totally related to God, and that's why he wrote not this particular poem, the Collar, but his all whole collection, the temple named. He described his relationship with God, and tell us how he feel about him, and if he service to the God, he got delight in under his hand also. Thank you.
Rover.
So it's visible. Here is my personal information, and this is the overview of my further slides. Quickly go through the points. Introduction: Elizabeth and beliefs, the great chain of being. The great chain of being is my main topic of this presentation. Example of Shakespeare's work: the great chain of being and the problem of evil, the great chain of being today, and my work cited. And first of all, we go through the introduction. The great chain of being was first systemized by the Neoplatonist philosopher Plotinus. Plotinus was a very big follower of Plato and Aristotle. And here I quote the uh, Arthur Arthur Lovejoy's books quotation that is very related with this history of the great chain of being. And now we are go through the belief of Elizabethan people. Elizabethan believed that God set out everything and order for everything in the universes. This was known as the great chain of being. On the earth, God created a social order for everyone and choose whether you belong. If you are a poor person, if you are a rich person, that is the choice of God, not is your choice. This concept is there. In other words, the king or queen was the in charge because God put there. Here we can say if king and queen are put there because God, it's God choice, and it's happened the king is bad or queen is bad, then we people are accept them because God are chosen. That it is a very problematic thing. This meant disobeying the monarch was a sin, which was handy for keeping people in their place. Here the picture of the great chain of being. There is a God is the top level in this picture. Angels, after God, angels are nearest to the God. Kings and queens, they are the third position, and humans are positioned in middle. Animals, sea creatures, and other living things are there. And the plants are coming in chain after animal, and non-living things, there are the other non-living things. And last one is hell. Punishments are given in, and there is a concept of heaven and hell in the Christianity. If you are doing a very bad thing, and then you are punished in the hell. Here are the topics that we are seeing in the great chain of the uh, being. God, there is the existence, life, will. Here the word will is used for action. According to Christianism, there is a free will is given by God to everyone. Everyone can choose their path if there is wrong and there is bad path. And if we are related to Hinduism, then we can say the karma concept in the Hinduism. There are bad karma and good karmas are there. And here the if we are talking about human, then human are not immortal. They are in the middle of human is there, then we can say they have uh, some qualities of god and angel and some of animal and plants. So it should be good if they are balanced between that. From the basic description of a great chain of being as vertical mortal hierarchy, it becomes possible to sketch the outline of a prescripal immoral hierarchy. During Elizabethan time, people believed that everyone and everything was arranged in a certain way by God or their angels. Indeed, each link in the great chain of being represented distinct category of living creator from the other matter. Thus, each being in the chain possessed all the attributes of what we below, plus additional superior attribute. Uh, Here, I would like to connect the example of Shakespeare's work Macbeth. Here we can see the influence of the great chain of being. Not here the word not listening to Shakespeare, but to the ideas of the time, which will settle in matter for him as a priority. In general, every writer's work is influenced by their time and what by their surrounding, what we are doing and what we are telling and writing and speaking. This is by our surrounding. So our surrounding affects us a lot. Here the picture of Lady Macbeth, the picture of the sleepless night, and Lady Macbeth killed the king, and because of his ambition. And when she killed, at that time she want to be a queen, and he want to become her, want to become see her her husband as a king. And after the killed the king, she is falls in the depression, and here we can see the god punished her, according to influence the great chain of god punished her. She get sleepless nights, and she can't able to sleep, and she roaming with candle at night. And at the end of the play she committed suicide. According to Christianity, suicide is unforgivable thing, that if someone is committed suicide, then they never uh, god never forgive them. So at the end of she committed suicide, that means her sin is unforgivable. And other characters are also suffering. So we can't say the ambition is bad, but Shakespeare write this type of work because the influence of the era. The Here I quote King James once quotation that he given in Parliament. I quote: "The state of monarchy is the most supreme thing upon earth. For kings are not only God's lieutenant upon earth and sit upon God's throne, but even by God Himself they are called gods." Unquote. Here is a social hierarchy in the Macbeth. Here, in Macbeth, king is top level. The great chain of being and the problem of evil. The ancient and medieval view that the creation was ordered into the great universal hierarchy greatly informed Christian theology for over 1,000 years. Here are two premises given. Major premises: God created everything that exists, and minor premises is that evil exists. Therefore, we can say the God is the source of evil. But when we are tell this type of thing, then religious person sentiments are heard, and they probably oppose us. But here the quote of that I would like to, so I quote: I form the light and create darkness. I make peace and create evil. I, the Lord, do all these things." Unquote. This quote is give the support to that we are talk in previously. The great chain of being today. Enlightenment thinkers also rebelled against the last vestiges of feudal hierarchy by creating secular governmental structure that vest power into the hands and ordinary citizen rather the divinity ordinance monarch. At that time, there is a feudal system in that time that we might broke by the democracy, but we cannot say we are exactly. So there is in right now we have also the difference between rich people and poor people. It's too much. And in 19th century, Darwin's theory come out. We can say the Darwin's theory is upon the natural selection explained. When he released his theory at that time, priests and other religious person are in afraid, and they don't like the Darwin's theory, because after the coming Darwin's theory, people are coming in, people know the reality of the world. But we can say religious people can use the fear as the control to the people. And now their weapon is broken by Darwin's theory, so they don't like it. Even so, the great chain of being still informal popular thinking. uh, People who intense sadness at the stray cat's death, and they easily kill mosquito. So we can say some critics have suggested that latent notions of the great chain of being still inform our exploitation of the environment. As say further, as I say here, right now we have the difference between poor and rich people. That is a very big gap between those two. This is the example of exploitation that we can also see in the great theory of being. Here is my work cited. And thank you. Now, if you have any question, please ask.
Yes, I have a question. What happened when the great chain of being is broken?
According to me, if the great chain of being is broken, then there is no problem at all. But when we are doing this at that time, other religious people, and they are might be hurted, and they oppose to us, and it's a complicated situation, and creates the conflict between the religious people, and they say you are atheist. But if we are changing we are breaking the things for to come out from orthodoxy and other rigidity of religion, then it's not a bad thing, we can break it.
So, Rajeshvariba, in the great chain of being, if we erase the third part of king and queen, how does it? How does history or literature came out according to you?
If we are erase the concept of king and queen, that we can't say that we are happy. If I then at that replace we are replace other thing in the king and queen. That doesn't mean the replacement of king and queen is the sorted the problem. But we may have the other thing at that. Okay, thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Riddhi Rathod. Today I am going to presentation topic on metaphysical poets and poetry. Metaphysical poets and poetry. In English literature, English poetry is into different form of air or edges to better understanding. Anglo-Saxon poetry, classical poetry, neoclassical poetry, romantic poetry, and modern poetry. What is meaning of metaphysical? Meta means beyond, physical means the physical world. Spiritual poetry. Samuel Johnson has written about 17th century writer who used the word metaphysical at that time. They were uses paradox. Here some major metaphysical poets: John Donne, George Herbert, Andrew Marvell, Richard Crashaw, Henry Wagman. There is a spiritual poetry about it that even science does not have an answer to, which in reality may be quite different. Author Samuel Johnson in the 18th century, these were all called metaphysical poets. Theme of metaphysical poetry: love, deep things, religion, lust, God, and spirituality. Metaphysical poetry is a genre of poetry that deals with deep and profound subjects like faith, spirituality, religion, etc. It is a highly intellectual form of poetry and presents the world to its reader in a different way. It asks questions that science cannot answer. Metaphysical poetry prompts the reader to question their reality and existence. The word meta means after or beyond, so the literal translation of metaphysical is after the physical. Basically, metaphysical deals with questions that cannot be explained by science, such as does God exists? Is a soul internal? Is fake or real? Author Samuel Johnson made the first use of the word metaphysical poetry. He used the term meta poet to define a group of poets of 17th century. Here, John Donne. John Donne was leader or profounder school of metaphysical poetry. He was not only poet but also lawyer, satirist, priest. There was a poet who used to argue in his poem like a clever lawyer. The most influential metaphysical poet. Most of his work centered around his personal relationship with spirituality. John Donne poem The Good Morrow use wit or conscience in comparing between the unconscious lovers and the seven sleepers who slept for 200 years between two lovers and two hemispheres. Their odd comparison signature the play. Here I shared image which was John Donne famous poem George Herbert. George Herbert is none of his poem were published during his lifetime. He is a saint of the metaphysical school. Professor Paul Mares says about him, Herbert, the first English poet who spoke face to face with God. Here I shared image of George Herbert famous poems. Marvel. Marvel was a Puritan songster. Marvel most recognized poem. We see the poem uses with its full force. English literature is highly indebted to this above meta poets and their poetry. Here I work cited.
Riddhi, do you think metaphysical poetry will go out of trend anytime?
according to metaphysical poetry and its metaphors, uh, metaphors keeps the reader interesting. I don't think it's boring.
Riddhi, from the metaphysical poet, which one give true justification to the metaphysics.
Samuel Johnson. Thank you.
Hello everyone, I am Rinkal and I am going to deal with symbols. Hello everyone, I am Rinkal and today I am going to deal with symbols used by Afra Ben in her work, a play The Rover. Afra Ben, all women together ought to let flowers fall on the tomb of Afra Ben. Afra Ben was an English dramatist, fiction writer, and poet. And she had written in a very unique style that with a bravery she wrote her works. And Afra Ben was the first English women writer who was writing for the sake of earning. And the Rover. The Rover or the Banished Cavaliers is a play which is a revision of Thomas Killigrew's play The Wanderers. And the play is having multiple plot lines
of using some of the misunderstanding or confusions that a play is having many disguises in the plot lines. Symbols used in the Rover. There are four symbols majorly used: the carnival, marks, Angelica's picture, and swords. First is the carnival. Significance of carnival in the play Rover. That every day, what happens? The carnival people used to go in the carnival to go with wearing mask and to hide their identity. They all are free to do whatever they want to do out of their identical manners. That no one is aware that which kind of person or which class I am belonging. Dark as well good sides that kind of carnival in a play that we all have studied that there is one 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 scene of Florinda's rape by Wilmore, that he's trying to rape Florinda, that she was alone in a night and her door was open, and Wilmore said that you are a spider who is studying here in a night open with opening door and for attracting flies. That kind of things are happening. And good side, we all are aware that in a good side of a carnival, person can hide his or her identity and can behave in his own manner that he wants to behave. Masks. Identity is not as stable or singular as it seems. That every time, every character of the Rover are behaving in a different kind of things. That Florinda is trying to know that which kind of person the Belleville is, and later uh, Helena is also trying to know about Wilmore's desires or his thoughts about Helena. The concept of mask is working in the play that we all are have studied that masks are used that what happens that sometimes women who are belonging from high class, they are not allowing to do such a things and go in a carnivals, and that they will costume in some of normal dresses and will wear a mask that nobody of their class can identify her. Angelica's picture in in the play we are watching that Angelica is displaying her picture that she was a prostitute and she was showcasing her beauty, that how beautiful she is as a prostitute to run her business. And at the second scenes, Angelica is taking it away, that when she realized that she is loving truly to Wilmore, that she said that no, I will not going to do any kind of these things with my body, and she's taking the picture away. Swords. Swords are representing masculinity and power in the play. That as a one sequence, we all have seen that Don Pedro and another English man all drew swords, that whose sword is the longest and will be approved to saw the Florinda's face. And Don Pedro was having the longest sword. That this hierarchy, that he was having much more cultural and that upper class background, that he was having that kind of sword, a Spanish sword. And at the second, Belville's respect, that he is shown there in a play while laying his sword, laying down in Florinda's feet, that she is more powerful than his bravery or power. These are my work citation. Now you can ask questions.
Question is, why is the carnival significant or not?
the carnival is the one kind of festival where a setting of the play Rover is in Naples, and the Spanish and English, the Cavalier or Spanish, all the person were used to have this kind of carnivals in their places that they can enjoy with hiding their identity, and can work in a way that what happens that person goodness, that identity with a goodness, that this person is that kind, having that kind of manner, and this identity is taking him away that no, I am a good person and I am not going to do, and I'm belonging from such kind of class, and I am not ought to do. The person can be free from the kind of all identities, whether he's a man or woman, anyone else.
My question is that why is mask used? Rinkal, my question is that why is mask used as a symbol according to you?
Mask is here that with wearing such kind of mask and having a makeups as a gypsy or this kind of thing, the Spanish girls are using it by for they were not allowed by their brother and father that you are not allowed to go, and what happens with Hellenites, that her father say and brother said that you should go for a nunnery, and she was not having that kind of desire, and she was trying to enjoy by herself in that kind of carnival, and she decided, the all Spanish girls decided that we will go with a mask and gypsy dress. That's it. Thank you.
Am I audible now? Good afternoon, everyone. Today, on the first day of the presentation, I am going. Yes. Yes. So today on the first day of the presentation, I am going to present on the topic Women as a Commodity and Prostitution in the Rover with the Modern Insight. These are my personal information. In this presentation, I am going to focus on the three topics: condition of women in Afra Ben's time, women as a commodity, prostitution. So, I would like to begin my presentation with the introduction of the play and the writer of the play. The Rover is a play written by Afra Ben, who was a Restoration female writer, and she is the first women writer who earned her livings through the writing. She has written around 18 plays, more than Wycherley and the Ethereal, and it was believed that she has written more than 18 plays, but there are less evidences about this. And but though she has written more plays, more works than her contemporary male writers, she didn't get that space. Only the reason was that she was a female writer. During the Restoration time, women were entered in the theater, and that time it was believed that women who were acting in the theater were believed as prostitutes. Even in our time, female actresses are trolling a lot by society in social medias. That time it was limited, as there was less equipments to spread all this information. But now, with the help of social medias, they are trolled a lot, and they are even they are stopping their social media accounts due to the trolling. Afra Ben was also assumed as a prostitute by her contemporary. The only reason was that she was a female writer, and it was believed that women who sold their writings were seen as selling themselves. Condition of women in Afra Ben's times. In the Restoration era, King the Charles II was restored, and he gave England social and sexual freedom, but it was only allotted to men, not to women. In that time, lives of women fit within three rules: nun, wife, and whore. There was not any profession or any field for women where they can be fitted. Women in the society from ancient to the current time, women is being treated as a commodity. In the Rover also, women are considered as a commodity. For example, Florinda intended by her father to marry Don Pedro because he is a wealthy man. Her brother gives her choice to marry Don Antonio instead. And but at that time, he is not giving freedom to his sister to choose whoever she likes in her life. Helena's family wants her to be a nun, so this decision is also taken by his family, that she has to go for nunnery. Vilmore uses Helena and Angelica for physical pleasure as a tool. Unintentional rape of Florinda being was by twice, by first by Vilmore and then by Frederick. The idea of the marriage of Florinda and Antonio and marriage of Helena and Vilmore can be categorized or considered as an example of marriage market. And the first marriage of Florinda and idea of marriage of Florinda and Vincent is that he is a wealthy man. And the second marriage, which they married at the end, Wilmore and Helena, and it was only because of Wilmore marries Helena only because of her large possession of money. My screen is being shared now. Full screen. Okay. So in hard times, Louisa is exchanged for the job of her brother Tom, and we can see this example in the Kashiram Kotwal also, because he exchanged her daughter for Kotwali of Pune city. In Mahabharat, there is one scene when Arjun wants Swayamvar of Draupadi and brings her at home and introduces her with his mother, and they have little fun with his mom that माँ हम भिक्षा बहुत अच्छी भिक्षा ले आए, but and that time his mother says that चारों पांचों भाई आपस में मिलकर बांट लो. It is presented as women is a commodity, is a thing that can be shared, and this is happens in Mahabharat. They were shared with 5 brothers. That's why she was called as Panchali. The Bollywood song from Mohra to Cheese Badi Hai Mast Mast, in that song women is also considered as cheese. And the concept of Kanyadan is in my perspective is very quite problematic, that women is not object to charity. It is believed as charity, and we can give charity those things which are ours. Now I would like to talk about prostitution. I have taken this definition from Merriam-Webster. Prostitution is the act or practice of engaging in promiscuous sexual relations in exchange of money. So how this definition can be fitted in the play, The Rover. So Angelica, there were 3 prostitutes, Angelica, Moretta, and Lucetta. Angelica is a courtesan, and Lucetta is a whore, and Moretta is a employee of Angelica, assistant of Angelica. And there is a difference between courtesans and whore. Courtesans works for royal family and big heads, and while whore is being war is used by everyone. There is no restrictions. Prostitution is like a business in The Rover. It is taken as a business, and when we can see this, when Angelica increases her price to 1,000 Spanish crowns for a month, she also puts a poster of her photo of for marketing. In the movie 2022 movie Gangubai Kathiawadi, she during her speech she admits that prostitution is like other professions, and it should be legalized. It should be looked as professions of others, professions of others. And in England it is the prostitution is legalized, but still in India it is not legalized, and war of Gangubai was also for that to legalize prostitution. During the carnival, each woman is being treated as a whore. That's why first Wilmore and then Blunt attempts to rape her, and they leave her when they come to know that Florinda is beloved of his friend Belleville. The same concept we can see in the movie Pink. In this movie, the rapist thinks that just because women are drinking with them, they are of a loose character and they are an easy catch. So the male protagonist Amitabh Bachchan says that if a girl, he is presenting a rule for sarcasm, that the girl who drinks, who accompanied males without their family, they are of loose character. So it is a kind of satire on the current society. So I would like to conclude my presentation with a quote of Virginia Woolf, where she thanks to Afra Ben for raising voice of women. She quotes that all women together ought to let flowers fall upon the tomb of Afra Ben, for it was she who earned them the right to speak their minds. So Afra Ben is a first female voice who tried to plunge in the field of males and had also made a place in writings. These are the works which I have cited in my presentation. Thank you. So now you can ask me questions.
Trushali, my question. Trushali, my question is that what is your personal opinion about Kanyadan? Do you think it is wrong practice?
If we will look at feminist perspective, yes, I can say that if we will look at feminist perspective, then Kanya Dan is quite problematic. Kanya Dan, it is Dan. Kanya ka Dan karo. Women is not a thing that you can give in charity. If it is in a good purpose, then it is good. But Dan Shabda is quite problematic as per me.
Trushali, I have one question that as you presented, in can you see in a present time that women as a commodity in our society in a daily life? Yes. Can you see women as a commodity in a present time?
Yes. Aframan has written this play Rover in restoration time, and still we are like. Okay. Afra Ben has written her play The Rover in Restoration era in around in 17th century. We are living in a 21st century, right? So even today we are having this concept that female are considered as commodity. I have given an example of that song to cheese badi hai mast mast. And even when we see in the society, women are treated as same in the time of Afra Ben. Yes, she has raised voice, but still we are lacking in that. The thing is that female are not coming for front, and that is the big problem for us.
Hello everyone, my name is Upasna Goswami. Today I will present a characteristic of metaphysical poetry. Here my personal information. Introduction about metaphysical poetry. Maurice Kane in his preface to Logic says, metaphor are not a merely artificial device for making discourse viewed and political, but are also necessary for the apprehension and communication of new ideas. This is the confirmed by the history of language and of early poetry as well as by the general result of modern psychology. What is a metaphysical poetry? The term metaphysical, physical or metaphysic in poetry is the fruits of Renaissance tree, becoming overripe and approaching pure science. Meta means a beyond, and physics means a physical nature. Metaphysical poetry means poetry that goes beyond the physical worlds of the sense and explores the spiritual world. Metaphysical poetry began early in the Jacobean age, in the last stage of the age Shakespeare. Here are some metaphysical poets. Characteristic of metaphysical poetry, concentration. Concentration is one of the major feature of a metaphysical poetry. A metaphysical poem tends to be short and is always consciously woven, and so there is some truth when it is said a metaphysical poem is an expanded epigram. The reader is held to an idea or lines or argument. He is not allowed to push and ponder over a passage. Metaphysical poetry demands that we pay attention and read on. The following example will show how there is a comparison of idea. A bracelet of bright hair about the boat. Second, metaphysical striking characteristic of metaphysical poetry is its a fondness for a consistent. A consistent is a comparison whom ignorant is more striking than its justness. All comparison discover likeness is things unlike. A comparison become a consist when we are made to concert likeness will begin a strongly conception of unlikeness. An excellent example of consist is to be found in the poem, validation for forbidding mourning, where a pair of lovers are compared to a pair of composers. The relevant lines are, if they be two, they are two so, as a stiff twin composed are two. They solve the fixed foot, makes no show to move but doth if the other do. The learnedness, the metaphysical poets were men of learning, and their poems are laden with scholarship begun learn. They tried to be a singular and novel in their thought. As Johnson's rightly commented, they want to say what they have hoped and been never said before. That is why they rushed nature and art for illustration, comparison, and illumination. Cynicism. Cynicism is a quality that stands out of prominent in the erotic verse of the metaphysical. It was the fashion to write love poems in the manners of a perhaps idealism. The lady and flashing the poets, the lady was placed on a pedestal of untainable perfection, at the foot of which the lover, sand and ground, don't react against this. Artificial, and he wrote love poem in a original and realistic way. So realistic was is about the nature of woman, that his poems tend to be a cynical. The following lines are illustration of the quality. I am two fools, I know, for loving, and for saying so winning poetry, unification of sensibility. The most striking characteristic of the metaphysical poets is their position of what T.S. Eliot called unfictional of sensibility. The perhaps does denotes the fusion of the thought and emotion. Jerry Wright points out that the pinnacle blend of passion and thought, feeling and reflection, reflection is the greatest achievement of the metaphysical poets. The metaphysical poets felt their thought. Felt their thought in these poets. There is a direct sense of. He imagined he imagined the out of mind, but he out of mind, but he described the imagination of her level, and then he write apprehension of thought or research of thought into a feeling. Conclusion: the revival of interest into poetry of Donne and his followers has been regarded as one of the most significant features of modern English poetry. This revival of interest is not the result of a shifting literary taste but a deep rooted similarity between the age of Dawn and of our own age. Archie Cox writes relevantly the interest shown by our age in the period from Dawn to Marvel, and especially in the poetry of metaphysical with amounts almost of a discovery. Here my cited works, and thank you. If any question you ask me.
Question that how that poetry is becoming metaphysical poetry. Please explain in your words.
Please
How this poetry is considered as metaphysical poetry.
writer imagine metaphysical poet imagine her imagine her thought, and out of thought then there is not there is not out of understanding, but they think that there that is, and he write a poetry poetry, metaphysical poetries. Second.
Yes, Upasna. As you have mentioned about the sensibility of metaphysical poetry, how do you see sensibility in metaphysical poetry? What is your point of view about this?
In my point of view, metaphysical poet connect so many things, love, religion, write so many things, love, religion, and etc. He thought out of mind, and he then I then you not there are things, but metaphysical poet imagine the imagine the idea of idea of the poem. And so in my point of view, thank you.
Okay, so a few feedback, a few things we have said in between also, something that you can improve on now when you move on to the next day, and then subsequently at the end of the 5 day we will see that minor errors are improved and qualitatively our presentations also become better. So today I have seen by and large an overview of your citations and how you have made slides. Content also, one of the days we will take about what is the quality of content. At that time, that kind of feedback will be given. So today I was looking at slides and how you are making your slides and how you are understanding citations. And quite interestingly, most of you are able to work in a better way so far as citations are concerned. In semester one, normally students are not able to do citations properly, but this time you are able to have alphabetical order. Most of you also have MLA style citations. Many of you are using in text also, in parenthesis also, that also you are doing. So that is good. So that you have to continue subsequently. Somewhere you are citing study material sites that should be avoided. So qualitative journals, as we suggested you, Gestor or Taylor and Francis was cited by somebody. So go for qualitative journals rather than unknown people's citations. Some of you are mixing APA, MLA. So here our preference is MLA style citation. So maybe you are referring to some articles where APA is accepted or other form is there. So all journals have their own style also. So, but you have to mold it into MLA style. So you understand that there are different styles of citations for academic writing. That also you are able to can understand subsequently. Okay, so first was by Hina, okay, and that was on Rover as a restoration comedy. Slides were good. Most of you have prepared good slides. On combination of text, some lines from original text, poem or a play, and an image, which is going in tune with what you are showing or talking, is one of the best form of preparing slides. Then you can add GIF if you find an interesting GIF, not only for the sake of putting GIF, but somewhere it is a better way conveying the idea, then you can add that. Or video resource also. Today, Trushali tried to connect video, but you were not able to have that. So what was that error that also you have to see? I will see that when your turn will take here. So that is what is makes a good slide. So 2 or 3 presentations were there where only text was given. So that should be avoided. Add some graphic, add some image appropriate to what you are trying to say, okay, along with text and quotes from the original textbook. Citation was APA in Hina's slides instead of MLA, so that you have to take care of. Insia, also good slides with their image text combination we are able to see there. Do not cite from this English literature online resources. That also was one site was there, which was regarding the same study material site, or unnamed sources. Avoid unnamed. If you're not able to find name of the person, if possible, avoid it. Try to find the same thing similar on other site where somebody's name is there. So that is one parameter that you can keep in mind. Avoid unnamed citations, unless it is of a very good quality, and then we can negotiate also, that why if it is without name but it is of very high quality, so you are using it and you're not finding the same reference anywhere else, then it is allowed. Otherwise, avoid unnamed citations. In Google Classroom, you have not capitalized your name yet. So that addition you have to do, that why that small alphabets are coming in the name. First name, last name should be first capital letters and then others are small alphabet. Normally, what we study normally in first, second or third standard, that how to write the name, first letter capital, others are normally small alphabet. So only yours was having a different format. Kosha's slides also were very good, had a very thematic connection also there. Good examples of contemporary things were also given. Some of you have brought good contemporary examples. Some of you have not brought anything. You just have presented the way things are, which during our discussion we have seen that why do we study the literature from the past? Because we want to see present in a better way. So past literature or literature of hundreds of years ago is a window for us to see today. So that connection is always required to bring in there. So that was there. Very well, examples were given in the presentation. Female exploitation in the Rover and the contemporary times. Also cited original primary text also. That was good. Research papers were also cited. You should cite research papers also, more in number. Only one I think you cited. Others were films which were cited. So try to bring in more of research paper in citations. Mansi also had good. I think you were not having any images on the slides. Mansi is there? Yes, so maybe you have brought only the text there. So work something more on your slides. Don't like just make that 1 minute PPT. સવારે ઉઠ્યા ને ચલો પીપીટી બનાવવા બેઠા અહીંથી લીધું અને બધું સ્લાઇડમાં નાખ્યું અને આ તૈયાર કે ચલો સબમિટ. આમાં શું વાર લાગે કે આ બધા શું ચિંતા કરતા હશે કે પીપીટી બનાવવું એટલે શું 2 મિનિટનું કામ. પેલી નૂડલ્સની જેમ within 2 minutes you can make a PPT. So but work on that. So when you think of your theme, design, font, then time is required and you understand the concept in a better way also. And you and Nirali also have used one last quote before that final slide. After citation, I think you put. Now, how is that connected with what you want to say? That is important. So not just putting quote for the sake of putting it is not required. But why that is that quote summing up everything that you want to say? Then it is appropriate. Like your entire summary comes in a beautiful way in these 2 lines. Then it is appropriate that you put that quote there. Nirali on film adaptations. Okay. Slides were well prepared. Image text combination. Makbul you were talking about, and that was good. Well prepared and well presented also. Payal also had good slides and good things were presented. Quotes were also presented. There was, I think, this question which you were not able to answer properly. Yes, which is in the modern times. What are those reference that you can still answer it in a proper way also. Because about modern times, which is you will not find anywhere. If you say I will read an answer, but where will you read? Who is writing about modern times witches? You don't find witches as such anywhere now. It is a very old ancient concept, which also was an idea to hunt down free thinking women. That also was an idea about who are the witches. So they were all liberal women or free thinking women who were hunted down on that idea. Pooja on this poem by Herbert, George Herbert, Caller. A few suggestions were given in comment also. Don't cite. I think Pooja also, Payal also has cited 123helpme.com. So this kinds of site આમ નામ જોઈએ તો જ ખ્યાલ આવે કે આને ટચ કરવા જેવું નથી. ukessays.com. These are those cheat sites which help high school students to get ready-made assignments. So the students in UK and other places, so they refer to these sites for their assignments. So it is like fine if you are reading some material and preparing for exam, you refer. But when you are preparing your PPTs and research-based writing, then it should be avoided. Your exams are a different thing where you're not supposed to use any resources, and from your memory you have to write and justify the answer. So whatever way or from wherever you have referred to, you can write in that. For exams, you refer to these sites, it's okay. But research writing is very open. Internet is open, books are open, library is open. You can refer anything, you can ask anybody. It is not about memory. Research writing is not about memory writing. Exams are memory writing. So it's a 2 different domain altogether. When you prepare for exam, you have to prepare in a different way. When you prepare for research writing, presentation, assignment, in a different way, because here everything is open. So here you should always go for the best quality material available. In exam, it is not expected from you because you can't remember all those sources in exam. So even from study material site, you are writing something, it is accepted there. But not in presentations and assignments or any research-based writing where quality resources should be cited. Refer to Gestor articles and in the similar way, you refer to one Taylor and Francis article also. That is good. That is a good resource. Taylor and Francis online catalog. Your slides were also good. You prepared very well all the slides. Rajeshvariba on great chain of being. Good resources were used in your slides. Well prepared and also quite well presented also. Riddhi presented on metaphysical poetry. Slides were well prepared and also quite well presented. The other things which are common to the others might be for you also. So I'm not pinpointing the same thing repeatedly again. But you can check your own things and see whether those things are applicable to you or not. Rinkal symbols in the Rover, that was good presentation, good slides, good content was there. Refer to more quality journals, you refer to lit charts and course hero websites, you referred more. Again, these are all study material sites for examination preparation, not for research writing. Trushali also prepared well on women as a commodity and prostitution from the Rover. So you had this video problem. So when you link the things here and this here, it will not be your account. It will be others, like my account will be there. So if you don't give me right to watch that, I can't watch it. So you have to give access rights. So whenever you upload or share anything from Google Drive, one thing you have to always remember, one thing, that you have to share it publicly. Never, as soon as you have uploaded and you want to use that material for any collaborative work or show anywhere or want to carry anywhere, always make it public. Then the link will work. Otherwise, the people will get request access. You do not have the right to access it. So that screen comes. That's why we always ask that whatever you do, tell somebody else to check. You have posted a blog, you uploaded your presentation. Now tell somebody to check. You don't check it. When you check it, it will open because you are accessing through your login ID. So share a link and ask somebody in their device. પાછું ત્યાં બેસાડીને નહીં કે સરે કીધું અહીંયા જોઈ લો એટલે અહીંયા આવ તું જોઈ લે તને દેખાય છે એ કઈ આંધળા તો નથી કોઈ એને દેખાય જ ત્યાં તમારી સ્ક્રીન ઉપર તો પણ એમની સ્ક્રીનમાં એને જોવાનું in their screen, not in your login thing. So people are working together. બોલાવે કે જોઈ લે તો તને દેખાય છે then it is okay. ચલો આ પાસ થઈ ગયું એ રીતે નહીં. Share a link and see if it is asking for. Otherwise, even in semester 4, when you will be doing digital portfolio demonstration, then also most of the things will be having the same things, and we will see that when semester 4 students will be making and when you will come. But if you will come, બધું વર્કશોપ ને બધું કરીએ પણ તમે આવો જ નહીં તો કાંઈ ન થાય, તો તમને કાંઈ શીખવાડી ન શકાય અને એ જ મજૂરી પાછી કરવી પડે અને સમય પણ વેડફાતો જાય કારણ કે 2 કે 3 ન આવે તો એના માટે પાછી બધાએ સમય વેડફીને એ જ મહેનત કરવી પડે. So be attentive. Whatever events are going on, don't miss it. Don't remain absent in all those things. And even if you remain absent, learn it. Ask somebody what was there in the department, what went on, and do that. Then you will not face all these problems. Last one was by Upasna, metaphysical poetry. Good, well presented also. Good sources were also used and referred well. Quotes were also given from the original poems. That is a good idea to justify whatever you want to. Poem is always good when you are talking about, you can bring a line to prove your point. So this is what I want to say. These are the lines which comes as an example. So now, it was too text heavy. You can add some graphic along with that. Add something which is a good visual. Today in morning we had a very good presentation by Ghanshyam, and in that he has done this good. So you can just keep this in mind, and later on you can try to access that. He prepared very good slides where I was working about supernaturals in Macbeth, and in all the slides there was some very interesting image which was thematically connecting with what he was presented. So it was an ideal combination of those things. Yes, good questions were there which you should have been able to reply properly, but you were not able to answer. This Rinkal asked about how it becomes metaphysical poetry, or even Trushali asked about this. So both the things gives us this idea that why other poems are not metaphysical, why lyric is lyric, or why sonnet is sonnet, and why metaphysical is metaphysical. So there are so many poets who wrote about death or love, two emotions which are explored a lot by poets, love and death. So this poem by Donne, that is Death Be Not Proud, is considered metaphysical, but some other poems on death are not considered metaphysical. What is the difference? Or on love also. Why these poems, these poets dealing with love is considered using conceit, far-fetched images, and what others are doing when they talk about love. Then you get your answer. That why the others are also used, but they don't use far-fetched images. You can easily connect that, okay, you are talking about, like when Wordsworth says that butterfly is the historian of my childhood. Now you can see it is very far-fetched metaphor. Where is butterfly, where is historian, and where is your childhood? How you have connected these three things, how your things get connected. But then when the other lines comes, we understand that whenever I watch a butterfly, I remember my childhood. So then he is simplifying that metaphor. So this metaphysical poets, they make it more complex, like mathematical equation. If A is equal to B, then C is equal to D, then A is equal to D. So that way they are like calculating things and writing. They're not simplifying it as Wordsworth or romantic poets might be doing. So that way, if you differentiate, then things become more clear. Right? Always keep on comparing and differentiating other things. That's why in history, we were giving this task. Compare characteristics of one age with another age. Then in your mind, things get clear. That, okay, this is this age. So this kind of poem, this is another age. The emotions will be similar in all ages. People will be writing about the same content. That's why we were watching that film Tamasha, where the old man says that all stories are one stories. There are no separate literature. There is one literature only everywhere. That is what we were looking when we were seeing this Hardy's text, Hard Times, in that connection, Tamasha. So the same thing will be there, but still it will be different. If that is clear in the mind, you can very clearly give the answer. Otherwise, today you are not able to give answer, and never you will be able to give. But not only you, everybody also. Because you also have to think that if this is question to you, any questions that are asked, how will you answer? At least in your mind, you have to visualize that if this question was asked to me, how would I answer that question? And if you're not able to answer, note it down, Google it down, think about something. All the questions asked to everybody, you have to think on that. Then you become quite good in facing interview questions also in this way. Okay, so final instructions, reminder, don't forget to evaluate peer and self, do it within 30 minutes. Okay, I have to send one reminder to Avni, who has yet not done this, and so once it is missed, it will be missed. So while you are there, you do it. Don't think કે હું બસ અડધી કલાક પછી કરીશ, પછી ભૂલી જાશો તો. Don't rely on your memory. Do it before you leave. Make that a point. Evaluation, peer and self evaluation. અને હવે evaluation કરવું હોય તમારે તો તમે ક્યાંક નોંધ કરી હોય તો સરખું કરી શકો, નહીં તો તમે રેન્ડમ કરશો. એટલે પેન અને પેપર તો સાથે રાખવું જ જોઈએ when you come for presentations and other thing. But for your notes, you have to always keep a notebook, a paper, and a pen to note down several things. Some good point is discussed by other student. Then you should take a note of that so that it can be useful to you in exams and other things. And evaluation, if you have noted down, then if I ask you that show me your marking that you have written, then most of you will fail to show that where you have recorded. It means that we are not sincerely doing everything. We think presentation means I have to go there and present. That is the only one. No, that is not the only work. That is one of the many works. There are dozens of work that you have to do. Presentation is a part of that, one part of that. Other works are also equally important. They are equally important. જેમ કે પ્રશ્ન સારો પૂછવો, સારો જવાબ આપવો, એટલે જવાબ આપવો એ જ નહીં, પૂછવો પણ તમારી પરીક્ષા થાય છે કે તમે કઈ રીતે પ્રશ્ન પૂછો છો, એમાં પણ તમારી પરીક્ષા થાય છે. I am observing whether you are able to ask proper questions. જેના માટે પહેલા તો બરાબર સાંભળવું પડે. મોટે ભાગે સાંભળતા જ નથી હોતા. You don't listen. આપણે આમ ખોવાઈ જાય કે બોલનારા બોલ્યા કરે, અને તમારે બધા જ 24 ને તો સાંભળવાના નથી. એક ગ્રુપ છે 12નું, એમાં બેને જ ખાસ શાંતિથી સાંભળવાના છે, તો એ નથી સાંભળી શકાતું. મારે તો સવારે 11 થી સાંજ સુધી સાંભળવું પડે, લખવું પડે, અને બધામાં નોંધ આપવી પડે. તમારે ખાલી બે જ સાંભળવાના છે જેને સારો પ્રશ્ન પૂછે, તો એ પણ થતું નથી. એટલું આપણું કેટલું બધું બેચેની કેટલી હોય અંદર કે મગજ એક જગ્યાએ ટકે જ નહીં, ઠેકડા માર્યા જ કરે, કૂદ્યા જ કરે, જ્યાં ત્યાં ભાગ્યા જ કરે. Only two, you have to listen. So that when it comes, you have to be very careful in listening. એટલે પ્રેક્ટિસ કરવાની શરૂ કરો કે બેને તો ધ્યાનથી સાંભળીએ તે સારો ક્વોલિટેટિવ પ્રશ્ન પૂછી શકાય એમને. So evaluation, complete that. In Google Classroom, in the spreadsheet, there is one more sheet given there where you have to put the details of Google Classroom, where your completed task, incomplete task, and total task numbers you have to give there. So put the numbers by tonight. What is the status of your work in Google Classroom? If you don't know how to say, ask somebody. So tomorrow when we will do the analysis, I will ask that also. And finally, timestamp also you will have to put. Timestamp. So these videos which are live streamed, at which time your turn is coming, that timestamp. So the format will be 00:00:00. First hours, minutes and seconds. In that format only you have to give timestamp. In the same format. What is the format? 00:00:00. So if your video is coming at 1 hour 15 minutes and 30 seconds, 01:15:15:30. That is how you will give. So wherever it comes. If it is coming at 30 seconds, then 00:00:30. If it is second, then also you have to write 00. Also, if it is not having out way in the presentation. If you are not able to understand, you can ask me. I will send a screenshot in WhatsApp, so you will get an idea. If you are not able to understand that, tomorrow I will see what work you have done there. Okay, so wish you all the best for second presentation tomorrow. We end our session here.